oli ku BBS telefayina eyaffe ey'obwakabaka bwa Buganda. Ekimu ku kisinga okutawaanya bannayuganda ku kulemererwa okufuna oyo ayinza okubakiikirira mu kooti nga munnamateeka singa baba balina obuzibu obw'omusango gw'obagenda mu maaso n'okuwoza misango gy'ettaka, misango gya mbeera zaabwe ez'obulamu, gizibwa bya nsimbi n'ebirala bingi. Bantu bangi balemereddwa era ebiseera ebisinga obungi ne tugamba nti atalina nsimbi tasinga musango naye nga kiva mu kulemererwa kubeera na munnamateeka ayinza okuyamba okugonjoola ensonga eyo. Obwakabaka bwa Buganda bwakirabye ne bulaba nga abantu beetaaga okufuna ate engeri ennyangu ey'okubayambamu naddala mu kubawoleza emisango si ku bwereere oba oliawo naye ate era ne mu ngeri esoboka oba ne ku bbeeyi ensaamusaamu era ne buteekawo ate ekitongole eky'ebyamateeka Buganda Law Chambers. Kitegeeza nti nno obwakabaka bwa Buganda bugenda kufuna chambers ez'abannamateeka zino nno nga mpandiise mu butongole era nga zikola emirimu mu kooti. Gwe nno ali eyo kino kizze ku lulwo okusobola okuyamba okutuukiriza ekiruubirirwa kyo naddala bw'oba nga obadde olina omusango gw'olowooza mu kooti olina ekiyinza amagezi g'oyagala okuba nti oweebwa ku nsonga y'amateeka. Olunaku olwaleero mu bulimu bya Bulange Katikkiro wa Buganda agenda maaso n'okutongoza ate enteekateeka eyo eya Buganda Law Chambers era njaga butereevu nkutwaleyo osobola okugoberera ensonga eno nga bwetambula kati.
Who continue to support us at minimal fees, sometimes no fees, but within the professional regulations, because I think it's an offense to act without instructions and without being paid. But these people give us services within the range that we can afford in our meager resources. I mentioned Bule and Maiga, not because Mukamawang is a partner there. Max Advocates, Kalenge Bwani Kasawa, Sebaru and Lule, Sendege Senyondo, rather Sendege and Company, Ligomak, Kafel and Company, Shonubim Soke, Kalikumutu and Company, Chuan Kantidioa, and Advocates, Bowman's, I don't know whom I've left out. Due to pressure, we could have left out, but we thank you so much, all the law firms which come to our aid whenever we call. I know one time I was in office and the Katikkiro called Cornelius Muchivi. We needed legal services desperately. So members of the legal profession, we shall continue calling upon you who appreciate. I can see Kagwa and Kagwa. I apologize for those we left out, but we do recognize your services, the fight to ensure that our people enjoy their fundamental human rights is a noble fight which we shall carry on and for which we shall continue to seek your help. We hope that with a standing dedicated legal team, we shall assist the kingdom to manage legal risk and also provide legal aid to the community. I conclude by thanking the people in my office and the administration headed by the PS, the department in charge of protocol, the department in charge of security, for helping us to put together this occasion. But most of all, Omwanika wa Buganda, and finally, Fenon are my children from my own home, but I can't stop thanking them. They sponsored the initial production of this magazine, which we are going to use to produce, rather as our legal aid project, to contact you to tell us our story. They have provided all this, but Omwanika put some money in them. They gave us more than what the Omwanika paid for. But thank you very much, all of you, for being here. If my speech is not organized, it's because of excitement. But that's me. Take me as I am. Thank you so much. And enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. And in departure, he displayed perfect compliance with the standard operating procedures, we must remind ourselves of the existence of the risk of COVID-19. Apparently lawyers are not immune to it. We had hoped that we were essential workers, but we were even told that we're not essential. So we learned in the lockdown that not only are we not essential to the economy, but we're also not immune to COVID. At this juncture, we're supposed to have a speech from the Honorable Attorney General, Honorable William Biaruhanga, Senior Counsel. I understand he's held up in official duties and cannot be here with us at this moment. So permit me to take this opportunity to invite Oweekitiibwa Charles Peter Mayiga to come and model his former attire before he took Damula.
Honorable Justice Esther Chitimbo Kisache, the Speaker of the Buganda Lukiiko, Oweekitiibwa Patrick Mugumbule, the Deputy Katikkiro, Oweekitiibwa Nsibirwa, the former Attorneys General, Oweekitiibwa Katende and Oweekitiibwa Lule, the current Attorney General, senior members of the bar, senior counsel and senior practitioners and my learned friends. The last time I was dressed like this was, I think, 3 weeks before I was named the Katikkiro of Buganda. In the commercial court, I had a matter I was handling there. And when the announcement was made, and considering the extent of the work in the office, I told my partner, Francis Vule, that I think you have to grant me a sabbatical. It is 7 years now, going to 8. So this feels quite warm after 7 years. But like Attorney General Christopher Wanka said, we earn the money while standing up. Oweekitiibwa Katende used to like that a lot. Even during other discussions, when the matters got heated up, he would say, as a lawyer, I stand up when I want to make a strong point. So I will endure the heat of the robe. We are very honored to host the Honorable Justice Esther Kisache, Senior Judge of the Supreme Court of Uganda, who has significantly contributed to our jurisprudence and the development of our legal regime as a trainer of legal practitioners and generally as a jurist and a judge. All of you who have honored our invitation to this historic day are very much appreciated. Since the restoration of the kingdom in 1993, we have been striving to rebuild the pillars that constitute our heritage. Obviously, culture and traditional norms are the fundamental elements around which we mold the rest of our aspirations. However, the law is the foundation upon which aspirations which stand the test of time are premised. The establishment of the Buganda Royal Law Chambers will make it not only convenient to us to oblige with the law, but will provide us with the requisite strategic direction as we endeavor to position the kingdom at her rightful position in the general scheme of things in our country, Uganda. I can give you an example. We aspire for a federal system of government, but we believe that such an aspiration and others is only attainable in full compliance with the rule of law and the Constitution. Therefore, the Buganda Royal Law Chambers will be pivotal in this regard. Presently, Uganda experiences episodes that challenge the rule of law. The rampant land grabbing and unlawful evictions of lawful occupants on land, the sporadic violations of human rights, and economic deprivations that affect a big number of our people. The solution lies on more emphatic observance of the law and adherence to constitutional provisions, however weak or inadequate the institutions that enforce them may be. However, the law, or even lawful court orders, need not be morally repugnant. A couple of miles from here, in this direction, a church was demolished in Indeba, following due process and court orders. The action of demolishing the church touches upon people's spiritual inclinations and beliefs. And I think these ought to have been taken into account by the court. At the same time, there is a very profound symbol of our heritage in the form of Ageesigika next to the church. Ageesigika is a royal spring which supplies water to the Kabaka. And actually that water from Ageesigika is used in a coveted ritual at the coronation of a Kabaka at Nagalabiwudo. Some of you who are there may recall a Monsignor, is now demised, Sebaiga, who carried the water in a calabash to the Kabaka at the coronation 27 years ago. They drew that water from Ageesigika next to the church. So therefore, OHT Attorney General, my first instruction to you, to the Buganda Royal Law Chambers, is being issued here and now. And that is to pursue all lawful means to secure, preserve, and protect Ageesigika, which is next to the now demolished St. Peter's Church. I would like to express my thanks to Attorney General Christopher Bwanika, who has overseen the establishment of these royal chambers. 56 years after they were closed, when the kingdom was unlawfully abolished in 1966. I think it's a very major milestone. I'd like to thank Florence, his wife. I know the toll it takes on the family, yes. I know the toll it takes on the family as the Attorney General stays here late, as he travels all over the country representing the kingdom, as we bother him in the night. I often call him at night when things spring up. It's a huge toll on the family. So when you see Florence, his dear wife, seated here, it shows the kind of support she gives him, and we appreciate that. And the children, of course. And it's a good training for them. They should know that their father is famous because he puts his heart, soul, and mind in the task that the Kabaka entrusted him with. It's a learning experience for them. And I'm very, very glad that Frobish and Felix are here. And also Steve Jean and the other children. Thank you so very much, the family of OHT Christopher Bwanika. Like the Attorney General said, I am also very appreciative of the contribution of the past Attorneys General. Three of them are here. And one of them is humble enough to be the MC. He's supposed to be seated on that table with the rest of the team. But then, well, if you're an Attorney General, you can be a good MC, I suppose. I appreciate your contribution. Of course, I worked a lot with Ageesigika Katende. All of you who know the history of the restoration of the kingdom know how Ageesigika Katende recruited me into the service on the recommendation of my partner, Francis Vule. You know, Francis Vule, we were with him at the university, and I started my practice at the DPPs. My boss then, Mr. Mark Dosman Kabega, thought I was maybe good, promising. He sent me to the Supreme Court when I was still a People's State Attorney. And I would win my cases. But then I wanted to do business, and I went to Chikubo, but Bule wouldn't hear of it. And I always tell him that if it wasn't for him, and later Ageesigika Katende, there would be plazas all over Kampala, CPM Plaza, here and there. But here I am, Katikiro of Buganda. I don't know which is better. I leave that to you. But I thank the contribution of the past Attorneys General. It has been an enormous contribution to the rebirth of the kingdom and to the sustenance of our operations. Because we've initiated modest but hopefully significant programs, you know, which have benefit to the ordinary people. But observance of the law, adherence to the law is cardinal. If these initiatives are going to take root, if they are going to benefit the ordinary people. So the past Attorneys General have made a significant contribution, not only in the legal field, but because even in the other companies we set up, other enterprises we set up, we must ensure that they are legally compliant, that they avoid legal risk. So I thank you, Ageesigika Katende, very much. I thank you, Ageesigika Lwanda, Ageesigika Daudi Mpanga. Thank you very much. Kizibu nnyo okubeera mu lujja ne soogera Luganda. Kubanga maama wange mulema ajja kunneewuunya. Waliwo lwe nagenda awantu nga tewalina amanyi Luganda n'omu. Ne nkola speech ya Lungereza. Mama wange n'agamba abo aba hoteri bakwonoona. Kale nsanyuse bannaye mwenna okubalaba naye nga nsookera ku mugenyi waffe omukulu Justice Esther Kisaache. Nammwe abagenyi baffe mwenna. Okuva Obwakabaka lwe bwaddawo mu 1993 n'okutuuka leero tufuba okulaba ng'empagi eziwanirira ennono zaffe zitambulira mu mateeka ne mu ssemateeka. Era wadde nga ekinyusi kyaffe y'ennono n'obuwangwa, ate amateeka gwe musingi, ennono kwetuula n'ebukala n'etanyeenyezebwa. Nga bwe mumanyi Obwakabaka bwa Buganda ssemateeka bumanyi n'amateeka. Awo nno tulina okugatambuliramu mu byonna bye tukola. Okutandikawo Buganda Royal Law Chambers kituyamba nti bannamateeka bajja kutubeera kumpi, naye n'ebitongole byaffe byonna n'amakampuni bijja kwanguyirwa okufuna okulambikibwa mu mateeka. Kubanga bwe tuba tugenda tugambe okujjanjaba abantu, Kabaka baba n'ajjanjaba abantu, Kabaka Foundation gene ejjanjaba abantu, waliwo amateeka agagobererwa okukola ekyo. Offices zino ez'abannamateeka zijja kutuyamba okulaba nti tetwawukana n'akamu ku mateeka. Buli lw'okuba ekituli mu mateeka omulabe mu kituli awo waayita n'akulumba. Awo nno guno mukisa gwa njawulo nnyo. Ne bwe tunaaba tulwanirira federo tulina girwanirira nga tuyita mu mateeka. Ne bwe tunaaba twagala okutaasa n'okukuuma Namulondo, ne bwe tunaaba twagala okukuuma ettaka n'ensalo za Buganda, byonna tulina bikola nga tugoberera ssemateeka n'amateeka. Ennaku zino tulaba ebintu bingi ebityoboola enfuga ey'amateeka mu Uganda yaffe. Abantu babbibwako ettaka, basengulwa, abalala eddembe lyabwe ery'obwebange libaggibwako, balule bawamba abantu ne babasibira mu bifo ebitategeera. Abantu bali mu bwavu obutayogerekeka. Eddagala ly'ebyo byonna kwesiba ku mateeka. Bw'oba n'oluggi nga lunafu era oluzzaawo, okugoberera amateeka n'ebiragiro kiyinza okubaamu obunafu wano nawali, naye tulina okukinywererako kuba lwe luggi olunafu lwe tulina. N'atalina luggi lwa kyuma n'alina oluggi olw'olubaawo nalwo aluzzaawo. N'olwekyo tulina kutambulira mu mateeka. Weebale nnyo ssebo. Naye kyokka amateeka oba kabibe ebiragiro bya kkooti nga biweereddwa mu mateeka, tebisaana kuba biragiro ebyesittaza ensi oba ebiwaawaaza abantu oba ebisiikuula emmeeme z'abantu. Enkya ya leero nkeddeko wali mu kkanisa ey'Endeeba gye baamenye. Waaliwo ebiragiro bya kkooti, naye kkooti yeerabira nti abantu balina okukkiriza. Kkooti yeerabira kiki abantu kye balowooza ku bifo ebisinzizibwamu, wadde nga amateeka weegali. Tewaliiwo ddagala ddala lyonna, kubanga nannyini ttaka kikyayagala ndowooza kuzimbawo. Bw'azimbawo ayagala kikufuna ssente, tasobola kuweebwa ssente. Abo abalinawo ekkanisa n'agulewa awalala awawateekeddwa okuzimba obwo butaka bwe. Ate nno waliwo n'oluzzi Kalinda okuva amazzi ageeyambisibwa mu kutikkira Kabaka e Naggalabi. Era ssebo Ssaabawolereza, bye nkulagira okukola ebisookera ddala leero nga bamaze okutongoza Buganda Royal Chambers, kwe kukola kyonna ekisoboka ekiri mu mateeka okununula oluzzi Kalinda n'okulukuuma. Neebaza nnyo Ssaabawolereza okulaba nti tusobodde okutandika ofiisi eno ey'amateeka mu butongole Buganda Royal Chambers oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 56 nga ofiisi eri mu mateeka eggiddwawo. Era kirungi nnyo ssebo nga bw'oyogedde, tulina ensigo. Attorney General yali asembye yalina chambers eziri mu mateeka, yazaala Attorney General ono Frederick Mpanga ono. Awo nno ensigo nnungi n'abakulu bonna abaali mu mulimo guno gwe baakola okulaba nti akatutuuse wano olwaleero. Now let me introduce the guest of honor, the Honorable Dr. Justice Esther Chisache, graduated on top of her class at Makerere in 1981. You know, graduating top of your class is no mean achievement. Some of us would just graduate, you know what I mean? Somebody graduates top of the class, others just graduate. In 1982, the Honorable Justice Chitimbo Chisache started in Makerere Faculty of Law as a teaching assistant at the age of 22, which means she graduated at the age of 21, which also shows that she was going through these things quite fast. In 1985, she was admitted to the bar. In 1989, she became a senior legal officer at the National Insurance Corporation. In 1993, the Honorable Justice Esther Chisache Chitimbo was the first Ugandan female lawyer to win the prestigious scholarship from USAID Sponsored Leadership and Advocacy for Women in Africa program, which led to her pursuit of her master's degree in law LLM at Georgetown University, Washington, D.C. And she actually got a PhD at the American University, again in Washington, D.C. You know, these days it is common, everyone wants to be called doctor. You can be granted the doctorate from the University of somewhere in Dubai. There is a famous university for granting PhDs. But, you know, I'm talking about a different kind of PhD. She set up, by then, in 1995, there were very few female legal practitioners. Now there are quite many. In 1995, there were not many, but she set up a law firm in 1995. And she continued to teach at Makerere at the same time. In 2009, I'm summarizing her resume, because if I read everything about Justice Chisache Chitimbo, you would be here the whole day. In 2009, she was appointed Supreme Court judge. But between 1998 and 2001, she was the legal advisor to the first female vice president of Uganda, Dr. Specioza Wandera Kazigwe. And for 28 years, she has accumulated experience in the world of academia. She has built experience in the corporate world, legal practice, and part of that time she has served as a jurist and as a judge. At the international level, Justice Esther Chitimbo Chisache has participated in several fora which focus on the rule of law and judicial reform in Africa. She's a member of the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association and of the International Bar Association. Since 2017, Justice Esther Chitimbo Chisache is the senior judge at the Supreme Court. So which means after the CJ, she's, and she's in charge of, she's the judge in charge of administration at the Supreme Court, which means she assists the Chief Justice in day-to-day running of the Supreme Court of Uganda. Justice Esther Chisache Chisembo, I think, went to Trinity College in Abingo before she went to Makerere. She's a family lady. She has time for her children and family on top of serving her country. As you heard, she's a member of the Chive clan. She's a proud member of the Chive clan, and we are very, very proud of her being a member of the Chive clan. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our chief guest, our guest of honor, the Honorable Dr. Justice Esther Chitimbo Chisache. Ma'am, you're welcome.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, thank you so much for that introduction. And to all our invited guests, it's still morning, I guess, yes. A very warm good morning to you all. In the interest of time, I'm going to request that I observe the protocol which was observed by the Katikkiro of Buganda, and also the Attorney General of Uganda who spoke before him. Just a second. I'm also adopting that protocol because I do not want to, I don't have a copy of who is who in the room, but I'm very glad to stand here today on this historical occasion when the Kingdom of Buganda is launching the Royal Law Chambers. As I reflected on the invitation and my remarks to you this morning, and as you have been told, I'm a proud member of the Chibe clan. And for those who don't know the Chibe clan, we are the chief brewers of the Kabaka. And we earned this title because apart from brewing is not very, prestigious, but we earned that position because we are innovators. We invented the straw in the Buganda Kingdom. And in the recent scientific coronation, we were one of the 3 clans that were permitted to represent the rest of the clans at that function. Because we perform the Seruti function. The Seruti we bring, ceremonially we bring we brew and bring, to the king his drink, and to the Nabagereka, and of course eats that accompanies. Those of you who take one or few drinks know that you need accompaniments. So we take care of the king, and that's a very important role which we earned because of our being innovative. But the other reason why I'm very proud to stand here today, actually it's not because I'm a justice of the Supreme Court of Uganda. I was reflecting on how culture and traditional institutions have been demonized. Everything negative is usually, especially when it comes to the role and place of women in these traditional institutions such as the kingdoms. So when I reflected on the invitation for me to be the guest of honor at this function, I said, we've come a long way. Because the kingdom, if it was still following the traditional, what we believed and what is usually portrayed as the traditional way of doing things, of putting men and not recognizing women in society, they could have found another suitable choice to take this position. But for the kingdom to have said, we have a daughter, and who is serving not only in the kingdom, in her clan, but also in the nation, and that she's the befitting person to come and perform this function. I'm greatly honored, but I'm also, for lack of a better word, I say kudos to the kingdom. And for all those who continue to demonize our cultures and institutions for keeping us backwards, I think we need to take a lesson from this. And I'm making these remarks knowing that the kingdom has also appointed very capable women to serve in the cabinet. Before and who continue to serve in the cabinet. So I recognize that development and I'm happy to embrace it. Not only for myself, but I think for the constituents that I represent. The second point I wanted to make here is that just permit me to get into my, I had a hiccup with my technology, so I'll be working from both my laptop and also something printed. So I thank the organizers of this event for inviting me to join you at the official opening of the Buganda Royal Law Chambers. As many of us who are gathered here know very well, quality and effective legal services can be very costly. I therefore commend the Kingdom of Buganda and all those who conceived this idea and congratulate the Kingdom as a whole on the launch of the Buganda Royal Law Chambers. I have no doubt in my mind that this initiative will bear high dividends for the Kingdom. This morning, as I sat here, I listened to the Attorney General, who highlighted on what the Royal Law Chambers are going to be doing. And he brought out a very important aspect: access to justice for the indigent people. As we launch the Royal Law Chambers, the country is crying out for justice. The Particular and the Attorney General have highlighted some of the challenges that the Kingdom, but also the people, are facing. And I wanted to bring out or to reinforce those comments with the recent experience I had at the court. As you are all aware, the Supreme Court is the last court of the land. I have had the opportunity to serve at this court. In October, it will be 11 years serving at the court. Being the last court of the land, we only hear second appeals from matters which originate from the High Court. And in some limited cases, we may grant leave for third appeals coming from lower courts, if they can prove that there is a matter of great public importance. So recently, when I was presiding over an application as a single judge, where the lawyers were, between the lawyers and the parties, they were not, they were happy to play, hide and seek. And this application was being heard during this time of COVID, where we are very strict on attendance in court. We've been restricting attendance to the parties, counsel, the parties, and the parties. So I found a crowded courtroom to hear a single judge application on an afternoon because the court had been busy in the morning hearing appeals. So the first reaction would have been clear the court. So after the respective counsel introduced their clients, then I asked the rest of the people, what is your business here today? So to cut the story short, one gentleman among the many says, I am a Chibanja holder. Excuse me. And I'm being evicted from my land. So one of the, I think he was the respondent, when I heard that one of the parties was coming here, I tagged along. And of course, he was hoping that the last court of the land would grant him relief from eviction. Of course, at the end of the proceedings, I told him that I heard you, but you are in the wrong forum. We cannot entertain your matter here, but you could seek legal aid services from, various organizations. So I'm very proud today to be presiding over this launch when the Kingdom of Buganda is launching yet another law firm part of whose mission is to provide legal aid to indigent Ugandans. We must commend the Kingdom for this initiative, and I'm also very proud to have very senior members of the bar here, senior counsel, the former Attorney General, I salute you, and all the members of the bar standing in the audience. We have a job to do. The Kingdom has launched this initiative and it will not be able to carry out this function effectively if we don't come to its assistance, especially in this area where some of the people who greatly need legal services can't afford to pay for them. The particular introduced me to, my CV, but one of the aspects he didn't bring out is that prior to my joining the bench, I was also very actively involved in legal aid services and legal education. So I have that background and a lot of insight into that, and I'm glad my sister, Dr. Diana Msoke, we served together in the Association of Women Lawyers, FIDA. I served under her. Actually, she was my chairperson. I was her deputy then. And in, Uganda Network on Law Ethics and HIV, where again, we were looking at the link between human rights, HIV, and of course, vulnerability. The story is long there. So today, I must say that we are launching these chambers today, but they were required and needed yesterday. So we need to get to work. The other remark I wanted to say is that this launch is coming soon after the holding of the scientific celebrations to mark the 27th coronation of the Ssaabasajja Kabaka. I congratulate Ssaabasajja Kabaka and all the people of Buganda for successfully marking this anniversary. A lot of progress has been made since the Kingdom of Buganda resumed its activities 27 years ago. The Kingdom has come a long way under the wise leadership of the Kabaka and his government, led by the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, and those who preceded him, and all those who have served in the Kingdom. However, as I indicated in my message in the magazine, the Royal Law Chambers have opened at a time when the Kingdom of Buganda continues to face many challenges of a legal nature. I've already highlighted some, but let me highlight some of the others which have also been touched on by the previous speakers. Buganda's quest for a federal system of government. In Uganda, the place of the Buganda Kingdom within the current overall constitutional order, which was ushered in by the 1995 Constitution as amended. Recovery of properties confiscated under the Obote takeover. I know we recovered some, but to the best of my knowledge, that was not completed. I stand to be corrected. Has yet to be completed. The other one which has been talked about, the issues of securing and enforcing competing rights in land within the overall legal regime governing land ownership and holding in Buganda. The other one is the documentation and enforcement of unwritten Buganda customary law. We all know that the kingdom, over the course of the years and centuries that the kingdom has been in existence, it has developed positive values, traditions, and customs which were saved by the 1995 Constitution. And the problem we have is that when these laws and customs are not written, then everybody interprets them as they so choose. I believe it's time for us to move forward. And I see the Royal Law Chambers having a role here. So given the challenges I have highlighted above, and the many more that are known to many of you who work very closely under the kingdom and in various institutions established under the kingdom, it's my conviction that the Royal Law Chambers, which we are launching today, will go a long way in assisting the kingdom to render this service, which is, as I've underscored, required and in short supply. I have no doubt that the establishment of the Royal Law Legal Chambers will not only bring affordable, quality, and efficient legal services to the kingdom, but it will also go a long way in further safeguarding the interests of the kingdom of Buganda and its people. The other point I wanted to underscore is that addressing some of the challenges, current and future challenges, requires a team of professional and dedicated lawyers, advocates, who are willing to serve above self and who are committed to serve the kingdom with integrity. Integrity is another quality that is in short supply in many people today. At the same time, we know that even those who are serving with integrity are mingled with those without integrity. So we need to distinguish ourselves. We need to have a team that should be driven by a mission to preserve and secure the kingdom's lawful interests and those of its people at all times, without fear or favor. I am very glad that the Royal Law Chambers and the team that has gone into preparing for the registering and launch of the chambers have already formulated a mission which envisages that the chambers will evolve into a center of excellence. That being said, I would like to permit me to just add some proposals as you pursue that mission for your consideration. The Kingdom of Buganda has prized itself and is known for its greatness. This morning we sang the Buganda Anthem, and this was read in my speech, by the way. And as I wrote these remarks, two stanzas came to my mind, and which we sing very proudly. One of the stanzas talks about our ancestors, abazira ennyo abatusooka, balwana nnyo entalo. You know the rest of how it goes. I would like to say our ancestors fought physical battles. But today, as we launch the Royal Law Chambers, the battles are no longer physical. Battles for the kingdom and its people are won in boardrooms and in courts. And this underscores the importance of the Royal Law Chambers we are launching today. There's another stanza which looks into the future. And this one says, now I'm trying to remember. Nafe, you know? Katika remind me, it's Abana Valero. Yes, Abana Valero. We, the children, the sons and daughters of today, we should do what? There we are. Tulwane okuza Buganda. As we remember our ancestors. So as we launch these Royal Law Chambers, for me this message resonates with the anthem of the Buganda Kingdom and should resonate with all of us. It's not enough for us to say, I will die, as we prostrate before the king and say, I will die. Is it? Woligwa, wendigwa. Come and prostrate before the courts and say, if this case, if there is any legal argument that needs to be made, either for the case where the kingdom is the plaintiff or where it has been sued, be the one to make that last argument. At whatever level. Like I said, I've had the opportunity to serve almost 11 years at the court. And quite often, and you read our judgments, sometimes you want to cry for the party because you see elements, some cases are lost because of poor lawyering. And I want to address this community here. Please, from the word go, give it your best shot. At whatever level. The Katikiro talked about the demolition. We don't have the time to go into that case. But whatever has happened, I mean, those who have had an opportunity to look at the judgment and also whatever is in the public newspapers, you can see that, the lawyers could have done better. Yes, the judge may have, but we can only judge the cases as good as, they come. If you don't make those arguments before us, like I said, I may be the proud daughter of Uganda, I may be, sympathetic with you, but I'm sorry, I'll follow the law. That's what the judicial oath says. So, help develop our jurisprudence by presenting, arguments. It doesn't matter whether you lose or not, because you may lose today, but tomorrow you build on that argument. I have earned myself a reputation of being a dissenter at the court. But as you well know, sometimes that lone voice eventually becomes, can be the law in the future. So you may make an argument today, and one of the judges may pick it, and you may win or you may lose. But you are building some bricks in this journey to justice. Justice for the kingdom and for these people. So, as I said, the quality of lawyering needs to be addressed by all of us. We have the training, we have the experience, but sometimes this is not always exhibited in the work that we present, we do. And I don't want to go into the reasons why, but with the senior lawyers here, I know part of the problem is with the training, especially for the young team. But we also need to work in that area. And for the Katikkiro and the team and the Attorney General and those who will be responsible for recruiting these legal chambers, in these legal chambers, as we strive to be a center of excellence, let's look for the very best. I trust they are there. They are there, but it will require us to look with, an extra pair of glasses, if need be, so that we can build this institution, we can build the law chambers, we can build the kingdom, and an institution that will make all of us proud. All of us proud to having been part of today, and all those who conceived this idea. I want to commend, like I said, the Attorney General, current Attorney General, and those who came before you, the MC, Attorney General, for having taken the leadership and served in your respective capacity. And we look forward to your continuance in guiding the law chambers to achieve this level of excellence expected of it. As I conclude, I wanted to say that the Royal Law Chambers, I wanted to zero in on the term royal. They are being launched within the Kingdom of Buganda, which I've talked about. So you come with a brand. Safeguard and protect that brand. As we flag off the chambers today, I look forward to seeing the chambers achieve that vision. I would also like to add that we look forward to the chambers also becoming a legal think tank for the kingdom and its institutions. And I look forward to coming back to celebrate 5 years, 10 years down the road when, we have taken great strides. Thank you all for listening to me. Long live the Ssaabasajja of Uganda. Thank you.
We thank you very much, my Lord, Justice Esther Chisache. I think she deserves a bigger round of applause. My Lord, you'll be very glad to hear that there are only 2 more rituals, or actually 3 more rituals left in this ceremony. The first is a cake behind you. I would ask that Katikkiro guides Justice Chisache to the cake in order that the cake may be launched. I'm told, may be cut. I'm told that a product cannot be launched without a cake being cut. I am told that's a modern ritual. And after the cutting of the cake, there'll be photographs, and then we will proceed to the ribbon cutting. So there are 3 more rituals: cutting of the cake, photographs, and then the formal cutting of the ribbon inside Bulange building. believe there will be a scientific way of cutting the cake. On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. I'll request our protocol officers to guide the chief guest and the Katikiro, as well as senior members here present, to the designated photography point, and thereafter to guide them to the place where the ribbon is going to be cut. Thank you very much. Senior Counsel. Senior Counsel, former Attorneys General, Speaker, Wechitiibwa Omuwanika. The Buganda Royal Law Chambers is going to be saving you a lot of money. Ministers, please. Members of the bar, we thank you very, very much for your attendance. There will be, in order for scientific approach to the chambers, there will be a tour of the chambers shortly after the ribbon has been cut. But in order to avoid a crowding situation in the corridor, we request that you refresh your cups or glasses at the back. And today, you have been told that you make your money while standing.
Weewaawo embeera bwetyo bwebadde mu bimuli bya Bulange nga Katikkiro wa Buganda wamu n'omulamuzi mu kkooti enzikulu mu wano e Uganda omulamuzi Kisaakye bwe batyo nga batongoza ate Buganda Royal Law Chambers, ekitongole ky'amateeka ekigenda okuba nga kiyamba nnyo bannayuganda, era omugenyi omukulu ayogedde n'agamba nti ebiseera ebisinga obungi okufuna bannamateeka abalungi abagundiivu abasobola okutuusa ensonga ebiseera ebisinga weetaaga ssente, ekitali kyangu nnyo kuba na ssente ezo zetagisa, nti ekikoleddwa leero kibadde kirungi. Annyonnyodde n'agamba nti bintu bingi ebiyinza okukolebwako, naddala ffe tulina amateeka gafa wano mu Buganda agatali mawandiike ate agayinza okusobola okuteekebwa mu buwandiike nga chambers zino zezikola omulimu guno. Ate ne Katikkiro asazeewo ekiragiro ekisooka kyawadde chambers zino kwe kulaba nti zikuuma ate oluzzi olwa Ssaabasajja wano mu Ndeeba oluli ku church eyamenyeddwa. Kakati ebyo bimu ku bibaddeawo ne tujja kwongera okubawa mawulire gaffe agagenda okuddako nako lwali lunaku lwa Juma, era banaffe Abaisiraamu bagenda kubanga ate bagenda mu nteekateeka ey'okusaba oba ey'okusinza omutonzi nga Sheikh Ssenyonjo Abdulatif ate waali okubanga ensonga zino azitambuza bulungi. Njaga butereevu nkutwala ewa Sheikh ate yagenda tutwala mu Juma olunaku olwaleero. Oluvannyuma tujja kudda n'amawulire gaffe ku ssaawa 6 n'ekitundu. Tova ku terefayina yaffe, nze Maurice Mukiibi Omugave.